Okay, Shai, what's up? How are you doing today?
Baruch Hashem.
Today is the beginning of changing your life.
Do you really think
Yeah,
so?
because we've had a lot of conversations, and throughout the years, I always mention one of the most important Sfarim that changed my life, and that's the NEFESH HACHAIM from Rabbi Chaim Evolution, and it literally changed my life. So let me tell you in what sense it did, and how the Sefer is made, right? So in the sense it did, I had a lot of very deep philosophical questions, and I'll be honest, most people had no idea how to answer these things. Like, one question that I had that really pushed me to look for the answer was, I was very bothered by the fact that if God is above time, then does he really judge the world on Rosh Hashanah? Right? That was the question I had since I was a teenager. And nobody had nobody had the courage to tell me, I don't know. It is a very strong question if you think about it. Maybe I went too fast, but if you think about it, if there's no time for God, then there's no Rosh Hashanah.
Right.
Because Rosh Hashanah is once a year. Once you talk about once a year, that means that there is time. So what are you going to say? Time is static. It's not something that moves in the lens of God. Something we will never understand because obviously we're part of the project, we're part of the creation, so therefore we are limited by time. But my curiosity of understanding, when I talk to God on that day, and we always try to see Hashem in a physical way because we are physical, so nothing wrong to think about a judge who is sitting and judging the world. And in the back of my mind is like, is it really true or not? Just tell me it's not true, and I'm like, okay, I'm confused. And the first thing that comes to mind is it's impossible, because if God is not bound by time, so then there's no Rosh Hashanah. If there's no Rosh Hashanah, then leave me alone. In the yeshivot, you're scared, Rosh Hashanah.
Elul.
It's right, Elul, the whole thing. There's no Elul. That's in God. So what some people told me, which I think was really bad. I'm not trying to minimize their answer in the sense of maybe it works for some, maybe it's written somewhere, maybe it's misunderstood though, because we know that the Divrei Chachamim are very complicated and deep, and this here is one of those when they tell you, well, it's for you. For you, God judges the world. Are you serious? My whole question was, is it just for me or
not?
Or is it also for him? Like, are you telling me basically he's not judging the world on that day? So it's as if make believe that he is, because it's, by the way, in a mature way, it's amazing. You have once a year a moment, there's a serious moment where you rethink about everything of your life. You think about everything you do. It's really that day that you go back, you look, and you plan the future, but you look back. How many Rosh Hashanahs are we going to have in life? I hope a lot, but it's still a small number.
Right.
It's an opportunity once a year. A year is a huge time. Once a year to reflect on the entire year and to plan the next year. It's huge moments. It's not. It's big. It's the biggest cycle we have. We have smaller cycles. You have the monthly cycle. It's also an opportunity to think. You have the weekly cycle. Shabbat is supposed to do that, but the yearly cycle is huge. So even if that's the answer, now with maturity, I wouldn't mind as much. Like, it's like you tell me, you know what? God does not judge the world on a day. We lied to you. All right, perfect. But it's still amazing that you have once a year
Time
a
to
moment
reflect.
to think and reflect. But that was not my question. My question was not, did Chachamim or the Torah, decide that it's a very healthy thing to do once a year to think about where you're going and the trajectory of your life. Great. Then tell me that. Tell me, on that day, there's no judgment. Why do you call it Yom Adin? Then call it something else. Yom HaCheshbon. Yom HaCheshbon HaNefesh. The day that you think about your life. Yom HaPriorities. Yom HaReset Button. Yom HaAnniversary of Man. And they're all true, by the way. They're all true. But once you call it Yom Adin, and Yoshvim lefanav k'nei Aron, omdim lefanav k'nei Aron, Ovrin lefanav k'nei Aron, the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, and Shlosha Sfarim niftachim lefanav, and all these things that whatever, you could learn it one way or another. That's not the point here. It was just one. I'm just introducing why, I loved so much the approach of Nefesh HaChaim is because instead of getting all these answers of well, it's for you, but it's not for him, or trying to make up some crazy stuff. First of all, people have to learn how to say I don't know if they don't know. That's the most noble thing you could do. Okay, I feel that people who are in the teaching world have a very, very hard time to say I don't know. I think one of the most incredible moments that I've seen my Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Wachtweigel, is a Gaon Atzum. He knows everything. And he's smart, Tamid Chacham. And when you asked him a question and he said, I don't know. And it's in a very, very loving way that I'm going to say, because I do have tremendous love and respect for him, as I was and still am very, very close with him, is the most gratifying moment that I've ever had, I think. When a person of this caliber tells you, I don't know.
And he can answer and turn your head in seconds.
Right. So,
find answers to answer your question.
Of course.
Easy.
But this honesty this is a great question. And if somebody would have come to me and said, this is a great question. Does God judge the world on Rosh Hashanah? I don't know. I'm stuck with the same question. As a teenager or a young adult, I have the question for 10, 12 I think 10 to 12 years I had the question without an answer. Just giving the okay. First of all, it's okay to have these questions. And number two, I also have the same question, but it didn't shake my emunah. It's a problem in me. I don't understand. So what? You could have a mature conversation on that, how to deal with questions that you may have. It's fine. That's the first thing people have to learn. Not because you're in the teaching mode, you can't have questions, you can't be honest with your students. It's chaval. But I think that's changing a little bit. It's a little better than it used to be. When I was a kid, you still have those older people who said, we don't ask these questions.
We do.
Today I say we ask any question. It really depends how you feel about your relationship with Hashem. If it's a real relationship, you can have questions.
Now I have a question. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe the reason that they don't want you to ask questions because the answer you may not understand the answer of your own question, and it can turn you off the way. For example, if you tell me right now that something that I believed, let's say me, I'm going to talk about myself. My parents did tshuva at the age of 6. From the age of 6 until today, that I'm 31. I'm a father. I have 5 kids, married. I carried a lot of different beliefs and understanding about the Torah, about God, and all this. So maybe some questions can break me, or some aspects of that we're going to learn here in NEFESH HACHAIM can tell me, oh my God, all my life I was wrong about certain aspects and beliefs that I had. It's scary.
It is scary.
So maybe the rabbis, they say maybe it's better you not to know, just do it. It's like.
So I have 3-4 things that I'm thinking about as you're asking the question. Number one, we live in a generation, in my opinion, it's called Dor De'ah. Back to the generation of Dor De'ah, the time of knowledge. Today, any person who has a doubt, they're going to ask ChatGPT.
Right.
They're going to ask Claude, whoever you want to go with. They're just going to ask the question. So you better have the answers to the questions. And if you don't give an answer to the question, if you say we don't ask these questions, you're going to push the curiosity of the kid or the adult. It could be even adults. To the next level.
Especially adults.
And they're going to find the answer. The problem is that the answer they're going to find may not be the answer. Because as you know, ChatGPT and all these things,
they don't have it.
They're really search engines. So they're going to share what exists out there. They're going to try to calibrate according to who they think you are, etc. But you're going to be limited to whatever they want to tell you. And you've lost all ability to actually turn this in a positive conversation with a positive outcome. So number one mistake today, I'm talking now 2026, right? Today, You cannot. It's completely asur, I would say, to say we don't ask these questions. Because you say that, they will ask the question. But you don't control anymore where the answer is going to be. And I don't mean control in a negative way, right? I'm just saying you're not the one who is in charge anymore of passing a message. Is there a danger to some questions? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you a teaching from another teacher of mine, Rabbi Solomon, whom I was zochet to be very close with in Gateshead and in Lakewood. And somebody asked him about such questions. And he said a yesod that I think is incredible, but I'm going to add a part two. His one sentence was, if he has the question, he's ready for the answer.
Love it.
Right? So if my brain is having that question, by the way, to be 14, 15 and have these kind of questions, it's certain kids that have these questions.
All right.
I would say most kids are not philosophical. I was a philosophical person. So I was asking all these questions, right? That means that my brain is in that kivun, it's in that
direction.
wall. That means that I'm ready for the answer. Now, part two, so that's a big yesod, I think, in general, for parents to know. If your kid has the question, then you have to be ready for the answer. Then that means that he's mature enough for the answer. Now, a grain of salt on that. You're going to have a 5-year-old who could ask you, how do you have babies, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same question as a 15-year-old who tells you, how do you have babies? So the art now is in the answer.
Right.
He's ready for some answer, not for all the answer. At 5 years old, whatever. It's a different question. It's the same words. So now, as a parent, we are educators also as parents. You have to know how much to share and how to share it. There's an art in how you answer. So, yes, some questions until today, nothing that we're going to discuss is 100% ever. Even what Rabbi Solomon said, for most cases it is like this. If you really feel that your son or your daughter is not really ready for the answer, then good luck to you. I don't know what to tell you. No, it's true. You're going to have to somewhat give some kind of answer. And it's okay if in the middle you say, it's much deeper than that. Again, within being honest. There's nothing better than being honest. If you don't know, it's fine to say, I don't know.
Right.
I think a lot of teachers were taught you have to be you look like a godly figure in the development of a child, and therefore you cannot ever say that you don't know. I think that's a myth. There is a level of authority, and there's a level of respect when you say, it's a great question, and then you give validity to the question. I think it's tremendous. So, yeah, some questions are tough to answer when they're kids. You try your best. Is it going to bring more, second thoughts, maybe that negative? It's possible. Everything is a risk in life, But that line of Rabbi Solomon, I think, is something that everybody has to know. If he asks the question, he's ready. I'm going to add somewhat of an answer, right? He's ready for some answer. Don't dismiss it and say, you're too young to understand, period. That hurts. You want to validate. You want to continue having the conversation. The fluidity of conversation is always the most important thing. And the trust that you could ask any question you want, but to get upset. So back to that, in your relationship with Hashem, if you don't have any question, that means that you're dead. Because any human being in a relationship, you're going to have a back and forth. There's going to be moments of emotions that are good. Sometimes you're in a good mood, sometimes you're in a bad mood, sometimes you want to do something, sometimes you can't be that machine that comes every morning to shul and has the same enthusiasm in the mitzvah. By the way,
why not?
Okay, if you do,
Naaseh v'nishma.
Okay, I would question. Naaseh v'nishma doesn't mean I'm going to become a machine.
I will do. First of all, I do it. Then I will hear.
I'm not saying you shouldn't wear tefillin chas v'sham. You should do it, but the emotions are not always going to be the same. Sometimes you may be closer, sometimes maybe a little further.
So I should still do things without believing and understanding what's behind.
Those are big words. Without believing, whatever.
No, you tell me. 100%. I don't want a wet feeling.
No. That's a different discussion. I don't know why we're going there now.
No.
In the Kiyum mitzvot, of course, you still have to do the mitzvah. Of course, naaseh v'nishma. But it doesn't mean that your relationship with Hashem is going to be platonic and is going to be, completely. There's no pulse. A pulse goes up and down. And it's the same in your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's fine. Some things we understand better, something we appreciate better, etc. I'm just saying, for somebody who has a moment that he's down, it doesn't mean you don't have a relationship. It actually means that you do have a relationship. Because if you didn't have a relationship, it would be flat.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're not doing it. You're doing it. Like a couple. Or like a father. You come home, some days you love playing with your kids, and sometimes you don't. But
Right.
you're still going to do it. It is what it is. It's your responsibility. You're going to do it. Do you love it every moment of it? No, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And that's what I mean by a relationship. It's not flat. It's alive. The ocean is alive. For our viewers, don't be jealous. We live a block away from the ocean. Literally a block away from the ocean. When you see that, it's a beautiful scene. There's life. It's always moving. Every
Always
wave
active.
is different. It's really, that's life. There's boundaries. The water doesn't go over. A little bit sometimes, not much. There's depth. And there's life, and there's breathing, and there's inhaling and exhaling. This ocean is beautiful. I don't know why I'm bringing the ocean, but the point is, it's being alive means being moving, and like the fire, everything that is alive is never perfect, and that's so it's fine to have questions. And again,
I'm saying, going back to my question is going into the depth of the Torah, the places that I personally I heard here and there, some studies here and there, but to dive in and to say, okay, I'm going in, okay, is there things that it's better not to know and just do for? I'm gonna explain. Imagine that there's someone that goes to pray every morning. He wakes up like a clock. He goes, he serves. He's the best student. He's the good Jew. He follows everything. Why to distract this? Why to put different thoughts in his head? Just continue. You're doing great. Or you can have a kid. I have a son. He's doing everything right. Leave it like that. I'm going to work with the other ones that are not listening and my other boys. But
Right.
if I have a kid that is good, he's a good kid, and he follows and I tell him, go do this, and he does this, doesn't have questions.
What's easier, to be an entrepreneur or to be an employee?
For who?
I'm asking a question.
What's easier?
Yeah.
100% to be an entrepreneur. Easier?
Easier.
Oh, sorry, employee.
I didn't say what's better.
No. Yeah.
Okay. What's more gratifying? You're an employee, you get your check every
Gratifying
month.
is an entrepreneur.
Perfect. That's the answer to your question.
But does God want us to be entrepreneurs?
That's a question you have to answer. And it depends on what you think your ability is and your potential is. If your potential was to be an entrepreneur, and you stayed a small employee in a company, and you had the potential to become bigger, I think God and you is going to have a little conversation. And after 120, he's going to tell, of course it's a mashav, he's going to tell you, I give you this much potential, you use this much. Why? And usually what you're going to say is, I was afraid. Because to be an entrepreneur, you have to take risks. Is it going to always work? It usually doesn't, by the way.
Right.
It works only after a few times.
Or not.
Or not. But if I gave you the potential to try, because in Avodat Hashem it's all about trying, you have to try. You want to be mediocre? You know how many people are mediocre in the Avodat Hashem? In business, they're amazing. It's most people.
Right.
Because that's not the priority for them. That's it. Now, if you look backwards and you say, well, if my priority is my relationship with Hashem, my growth in Torah, I'm going to have to take some risks. If I don't take some risks, then I'm going to stay this employee, gets his paycheck every month, but I'm not going to grow. And God says, I gave you a tremendous potential. Not to everyone. I would say it depends on the nature of each person. If a person is able to take risks in life, is a smarter person, you don't want to take risks, fine, no problem. But if he gave you a potential and you decided not taking risks shows that your potential is smaller, or you're afraid, or you're lazy. It's one of those. So is there risk? Every time you're going to go on your own, there's risk. In business, in everything, there is risk. Now, I will tell you one thing though. What we're doing now is good. The only time you have a kid who's trying to swim. What do you do when he's a kid? You buy him the floaties. Okay. Don't ever go in the pool if you don't have floaties or if you don't know how to swim. The only time you could go without floaties is if there is a teacher there who's going to direct the kid to teach the kid how to swim, because otherwise may drown in there. That's the risk. So, yes, in these topics, best is to have somebody who is giving you the hand, somebody who's going to take you through that. And that's why we have beautiful Sfarim and teachers that could help with that. So I'm sorry, I'm going back to the beginning. I had that question for a long time. I had it for a very long time. I was already married. I still didn't have a good answer to that question. And I met somebody. I'm going to skip all the people I met that did bad. And I met one person. And he told me, it was a wedding, I remember, I'll never forget, big Talmid Chacham in Mexico. And I was sitting at the wedding, he was sitting next to me. I said, I have a question. I said, I'm sorry I'm asking you a question. Maybe it's inappropriate, but I think it's a great question. I'm very respectfully. Rosh Hashanah is coming up, and what's going on God's end? He told me NEFESH HACHAIM. And I was like, NEFESH HACHAIM. I heard NEFESH HACHAIM a million times from the Derashot of Matityahu and Rabbi Wachtfogel all the time. I had never learned the first 3 Sha'arim. Because in yeshivas, usually they learn Sha'ar Dalet, which is about the importance of Limud Torah. Which, by the way, if you learn the other Sha'arim, then Sha'ar Dalet is a different Sha'ar. But we always learn Sha'ar Dalet, but it makes no... okay, whatever. But he told me, no, that's not Sha'ar Dalet. That you're going to find it in Sha'ar Gimel, but for that you have to learn Sha'ar Aleph. And so he explained to me what each Sha'ar was. Sha'ar Aleph is about the responsibility of a human being. What did Hashem want from us? What exactly is our role here? And it gives tremendous... it's probably the best Sha'ar. For our viewers who don't know what the Sha'ar is, it means a gate. There's 4 gates. One gate is the Sha'ar on us. Who are we? We're going to see the first chapter Tzelem Elokim. It starts right away. Tzelem Elokim. We're created in the image of God. What does that mean? It's probably the deepest things. The deepest... It's basically telling you who you are in 2 words. But it's scary. Tzelem Elokim, in the image of God. We'll get back to this when we go in the text. The second Sha'ar is about tefillah. But you have to first know what your place is, what your role is, what you're capable of doing, and what you're controlling, in order to know what tefillah exactly is. He's going to learn tefillah to be completely different than what everybody else thinks of tefillah, which we had many conversations about. Sha'ar Gimel is really the one I needed, but I think he did right when he told me do Sha'ar Aleph at least first. Sha'ar Gimel is basically, it's a little, I'm going to say, in one line, is we keep on talking about our relationship with God. Who is God? Who is God? What's the best? It's so blurry. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Hashem Yisrael Hashem Elokecha. You have to love God. Hashem Elokecha. Who is that? Now, we're never going to grasp, again, like we said at the beginning, because we're finite and He's infinite, but give me something. How do you want me to have a relationship? We kept on saying, relationship, loving God, etc. It's all coming in every conversation that ever going to have on Judaism. If I don't know who is who,
how can I love you?
Impossible. But the smartness of Nefesh HaChaim is, first of all, who are you? Because before you say, I want to know who God is so I could love Him or not, right? I? Who is I? Who are you? What's your role? He's starting. So we need to know the 2 players, me and God, who is both. Sha'ar Aleph is who are you? Sha'ar Gimel is who is He. And this is tremendously important. As soon as I started learning Nefesh HaChaim, I said, okay, I know where he's going. I understand why this is going to be healing, and it's going to be the best effort that is going to change my life forever. And it did. And it did. It did on every level possible. Every level. It's long. But every word is amazing. And in what category would you put it? You go to a bookstore and you're looking. Is it history? Is it halacha? What is it? So in the Jewish library, you also have a few categories. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know where to put it. It's life. It's really life. Because is it mystical? Yes. It's going to go very mystical, very Kabbalistic. Because if you want to go deep, you're going to have to touch Kabbalah 100%. Right. Is it philosophical? Yeah, it's philosophy 100%. Is it about midot? For sure. Is it about nature? Yeah. Who are you? About purpose? Yeah. It's everything. Is it Musar? A little bit. I wouldn't put it in a book of Musar, though. People put it in the Musar book, ethics. It's not ethics. It's definition.
So it's everything.
This is a definition. Who are you? Who is He? That's it. So, but that if you know that, then you could walk. You could walk in life, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow, you got me
Amazing
curious.
secret.
Let's start.